This is the question asked in today's SkillTrack daily challenge. So in the first line of our input, we are given the values of R and C, and after that we are given a R cross C integer matrix as input. So in this integer matrix, first our task is to take all the non-zero integers separately. So here we are able to find 4 non-zero integers. So 4, 1, 2 and 3. So these are all the non-zero integers present in this input matrix. So first we have to take all these integers and write it down separately. So 4, 1, 2 and 3. And now we have to sort these values. So after sorting, 4, 1, 2, 3 becomes 1, 2, 3, 4. So we will be sorting in ascending order. So this is the new value 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we have to calculate the distance between every 2 points. That is, we have to take every 2 integers from this array and we have to calculate the distance between those 2 integers in the matrix. So first we have to calculate the distance between 1 and 2, and then we have to calculate the distance between 2 and 3, and then we have to calculate the distance between 3 and 4. So like that we have to take every 2 integers and calculate the distance between them, and finally we have to print the total distance. So that will be our output. So first let us find the distance between 1 and 2. So here we have the integer 1 and here we have the integer 2. So I have highlighted the starting and ending, and now we have to calculate the distance between these 2 points. And it is also given in the question that we can move either horizontally or vertically. So horizontally in the sense we can move column wise, and vertically in the sense we can move row wise, and it is not possible to move diagonally. So from 1 diagonally with one shift we can reach 2, but it is not possible because we are traveling diagonally. So let us calculate the distance between 1 and 2 according to the conditions given in the question. So from 1 we will be reaching 0, and from 0 we will be reaching 2. So that is the correct path as per the conditions given in the question. So to move from 1 to 0, that is, we will be using one movement, and then to move from 0 to 2 we need another movement. So totally with 2 movements we have reached 2 from 1. So the distance between 1 and 2 must be considered as 2. So I am writing it down separately. So the distance between 1 and 2 is 2. And now similarly we have to calculate the distance between the points 2 and 3. So the 3 is present here. So I am highlighting it in red color and I am making 1 to black color. So now we have to calculate the distance between 2 and 3. And again we have to follow the same procedures. We can move either horizontally or vertically. So from 2 we will move to the next row. So we will move to the 0 that is present below it. So total 1 movement, and then from 0 again we will move towards the next 0 present in its right side. So 2 movements, and then again from 0 we will move to 3. So totally with 3 movements we are able to reach 3 from 2. So I am adding 3, and now we have to calculate the distance between the points 3 and 4 because they are the next 2 integers. So again I am highlighting 4 in red color and I am making 2 to black color. So again using the same procedure we have to calculate the distance between the points 3 and 4. So from 3 first we will be moving towards left. So 1 movement and then 2 movement and 3 movement. So now we have reached the same column. So now we have to move towards up. So that 4, 5, and then in the 6th moment we will reach the 4. So the distance between 3 and 4 is 6. So now we have calculated the distance between every 2 points. So we have calculated between 1, 2, 2, 3 and 3, 4. So the values were 2, 3 and 6. So now we have to add all of these distances. So 2 plus 3 plus 6 will be equal to 11. So that is the total distance. So in our output we have to print this total distance 11. So in our output also we can see that we are printing 11. So this is how we are getting our output. Now let us see how to write a C program for this. So first I am creating the variables R, C and then a 2-dimensional array named mat of size 50 cross 50. So we will be storing our input matrix inside this two-dimensional array, and we are declaring these variables outside the main function, because when we do so we can access them within our user defined function and also within the main function. So that is why we are declaring these variables outside the main function. And after that I am creating a function named getRow. So this function getRow accepts the integer in its arguments, and it returns the row in which the particular integer is present. So in order to find the row in which the value is present, first we have to iterate through our matrix. So to iterate through the matrix mat, I am creating a nested for loop, and in every iteration of this nested for loop we will be checking whether the matrix integer is equal to value or not, and if that condition is satisfied, then we will be returning the row in which that particular value is present. So the row is determined by the value of I, so we return the value of I. So that would be the row in which the integer value is present in the matrix. So we return I. So this is how this function getRow works. And then again we are creating a function named getColumn. So this function works similar to getRow. In getRow we were returning the row. Here we will be returning the column. And similarly it will accept the integer in its arguments, and instead of I we will be returning the value of j. So that will be the column in which that particular integer is present. So these are the two functions which we will be using. And in the main function, using a scanf statement, I am accepting the values of r and c, and then I am creating a new integer array named arr of size 1000, and I am also creating a variable named k, and I am initially setting it to 0. So we will be using this integer array named arr to store all the non-zero integers. As we have already seen in our input matrix, first we will take all the non-zero integers separately and then we will sort it. So to store those all non-zero integers, I am creating this array named arr. So now we have to accept the r cross c integers and store those integers in our input matrix. So we have to create a nested for loop. So the first loop will be iterating from 0 to r, and the j loop will be iterating from 0 to c, and in every iteration using a scanf statement we will be accepting an integer, and we will store that integer into the two-dimensional array named mat, which we have already created. And soon after accepting the input, we will be checking whether the particular integer is a non-zero value or not. If it is non-zero value, then we will store that integer in the array named arr. So that is what we will be doing here. So finally, after accepting the input, we have our input matrix, and we also know all the non-zero integers. Now we have to sort those non-zero integers, because that is how we are given in the question. So again we have to sort the array named arr, which is of size k. So we can use any of the sorting techniques like bubble sort or selection sort, or we can even use the predefined function named qsort. But our task is to sort that array named arr. So after sorting the array, now we have to take every two integers from the array and we have to calculate the distance, and finally we have to print the total distance. So to calculate the total distance, I am creating a new variable named total distance, and I am initially setting it to 0. So now we have to take every two integers from the sorted array arr. So again I am creating a for loop. So the size of the array arr is k. So the for loop iterates from 0 till I less than k minus 1, and here we iterate only till I less than k minus 1, because in every iteration we will be taking two integers, arr of I and arr of I plus 1. So that is why we iterate only till I less than k minus 1. So we will be storing arr of I in the variable named p1, and in another p2 variable we will be storing arr of I plus 1. So now we have to calculate the distance between p1 and p2 in the matrix. So to store that distance, I am creating a variable named current distance. So now we are going to calculate the distance between the points p1 and p2. So now we are going to calculate the distance between the points p1 and p2 as per the conditions given in the question. So we will be calculating the horizontal and vertical value. So first we are going to calculate the vertical value. So the vertical value between the point p1 and p2 will be the difference between, that is the absolute difference between their row. So using this function getRow, we will get the row in which p1 is present, and we will get the row in which p2 is present, and we will find the absolute difference between those values. So that will be the vertical distance, that is vertical movements we need. Similarly, we have to calculate the horizontal movements required. So the horizontal movements is nothing but the absolute difference between the columns of P1 and P2. So again, using the function named getColumn, first we will get the column in which P1 is present and we will get the column in which P2 is present using the same function. And the absolute difference between these values will be the total number of horizontal movements required. So now we know the total number of vertical movements and total number of horizontal movements required. So the sum of both will be the total number of movements required to reach point P2 from P1. So we will be adding both of these values and we will be storing the sum of the absolute difference in the variable named current distance. So the current distance is the distance required to connect the point P1 and P2. So now we have calculated the distance between P1 and P2. Similarly, we have to calculate it for every point. So in every iteration we will be doing it and we will be adding the current distance with the variable total distance. So finally, after the execution of this I loop, we would have calculated the distance between every 2 points and we also know the total distance. So finally, after the loop, we will be printing the value of the variable total distance. So that will be our output. So this is how we will be calculating the distance. So this is the logic. Thank you for watching.